And we are here. A Clout Route exclusive is what they call it, Kevin. How are you today?
Oh, I'm fantastic. I'm always in a good mood when it's time to do one of these early access videos, baby. How you
So,
doing?
yes, early access to our patrons, soon to YouTube for everyone else. Welcome here. Kevin, today, kind of feel like Willy Wonka. We're going through. Last episode was Chris Chan. This episode now is going to be Erik from Internet Comment Etiquette. But my point is, we're strolling through showing you all of our favorite characters on the internet. Just
Yes.
like Wonka shows you all of his favorite candies.
I can't wait till we get to the everlasting gobstopper part.
Who is that? Who's the everlasting gobstopper would be like the person who never fails to give us content. Do we have that? Do we have a person? There's so
Oh,
many, honestly.
there are a few. I don't know. You could make an argument for Chris Chan, to be
We
honest.
started with the
We started with that one, and we'll have to work our way to the snozberry flavored wallpaper, which
yes.
just sounds like you know, ooh, she kicked me in my snozberries. It didn't sound like a thing you should have written into a kids movie, if you ask me. But hey,
Snozberries.
the snozberries taste like snozberries, which would probably be my King Cobra JFS, to be honest.
Do you
But
think there's is that coded with something? The snozberries taste like snozberries. Like, I don't know. I just don't like the way it sounds.
it's very sus.
Yes, exactly.
I would be
Uh,
very suspect, if I were a producer on that film. I'd be like, "What's this guy up to?"
so, just like we would be suspect of that, would you be suspect of a person, your first encounter with them online, and it happens to be a normal video, driving, or at least starting the car up, whatever. You'd think, oh, what could go wrong here? But driving on Salvia.
Mhm.
The first time you encounter a creator online and his video is driving on Salvia, what do you think?
I would have to absolutely like and subscribe to that, wouldn't you?
Exactly. No, I'm right there with you. So, Internet Comment Etiquette is a guy now with Erik with is it a K
With a K,
or a
I believe.
Z?
Yeah.
We better get it right because I know that he likes to make that joke on his show. Like,
I believe it was with a
uh,
Q.
it's
Erik.
Erik with a K.
Ah, should have stuck with my first guess, damn it. I see the Cloud people were onto him early. This video somehow is exactly 3 minutes and 33 seconds, so
Do you think
oh,
that's purposeful?
yeah,
Yeah.
Cloud people, Illuminati confirmed right away.
So, yeah, Internet Comment Etiquette with Erik now is it's a whole show. It's its whole thing. I mean, me and Kevin have watched enough episodes now. It's his shtick is to go into comments and leave proper etiquette comments, and also school us, the viewer, on what a proper internet etiquette would be. But his earlier videos, not really, not really the same thing, huh?
Much different lessons. He's been a teacher for a long time, but now instead of finding creative ways to tell somebody that he bounced on his boy's rocket ship to this, he was teaching you how to survive while on salvia, which I hear is quite the undertaking. I don't have any personal experience with this drug, Danny, but I've heard some very interesting stories. So I've seen Erik garden while on the salvia, and I don't remember this video quite as much. So I can't wait to see what
uh,
happens.
you've never done the salvia before, huh?
No, mm-mm.
I've got a couple. Let me give you a good one or two story here at the top. The
Ooh,
the first
okay.
time, okay,
Story time with Dark Danny.
I'm not prolific with the salvia. It was 2 times, okay? Me personally. However, I have 2 stories, one of them not being me, one that I was told, and
Mm,
one of them being me. The time that I did salvia, it was like me and 6 other people in a room sitting around a bed, all sitting, and we were, doing using a pipe a peace pipe, okay,
mhm,
as they would say. And everybody kind of did their thing, each with different reactions. The first guy is like slow reaction and kind of looking around like he's, whoa, what's going on here? Then, kind of as it goes along, it gets a little darker and a little darker because how it goes, if everyone's sober at first, but then it goes one by one, you're not. So people are experiencing sober reactions and messed up reactions. And you could kind of guess how that messes with various people's brains there. It's like the first guy is all and he's looking at everybody normal, and then the second guy has his reaction where he's like freaked out kind of. And then the first guy's still on drugs, so he's like, "Oh, that guy's freaked out. What am I freaked out about?"
Oh, so it's like the blood test in the Thing movie. I love that. It's my favorite scene.
Yeah, we kept doing it until somebody spit. Blah! Spit it up, and we knew he was the monster.
Yeah.
We burnt him with the flamethrower.
Exactly, dude. Boom. That's like a crossover between The Thing and The Faculty, 2 of my favorites.
Yeah, right. But
One of these
now
days, we get enough of you guys in here on Patreon. Maybe we'll watch some movies together.
hey, that'd be fun. But like everybody kind of reacted differently. When it got around to me, I had this sort of Stretch Armstrong kind of deal going on. I thought that I could see my arm stretching. It was some sort of manipulation of the light and the
Mm.
tracers, your eyes kind of the colors don't quite catch up. So I'm moving my arm like a karate chop, and all I see is, I've got it. I'm Elastigirl right now, baby. I'm fucking shooting my arm across the room, and it's making me laugh. You know how I go. I'm laughing at the as loud as I can, uncontrollably, which kind of makes other people react in certain ways too. All I gotta say is like maybe limit it to a few people, not like 6 people. It kind of keeps the emotions a little more stable.
Okay, that's a little too many reactions in one room, huh?
Yeah, too
Yeah.
many cooks.
Anybody have a bad trip, as it were? Anybody really
Yeah,
freak out?
one person did it and then decided to drink a beverage afterwards to, quench the thirst. That beverage ended up coming up in kind of a mist sort of way all over another person. So you can that wasn't a good interaction. Another person, the person right after me who's watching me laugh and giggle, you would think that they'd be happy to do it when it's their turn. They'd be like, "Oh, look how much fun he's having." No, he sunk into like a dark hole into the depths. He was like a curled ball by the end of
Maybe your laugh took on like a different tone. So while
it.
you thought it was joyful, maybe it sounded very maniacal.
I
And
could see how that could happen.
so he's like, "Holy shit, I'm sitting next to the Joker, dude. What are these guys gonna do to me?"
Luckily, with that, salvia is one of those that it's like very intense for no longer than 5 minutes. You're good.
Yeah, I've
You'll
heard
be
it's over
back
very
to
quickly.
normal. Yep,
Yeah,
yep,
okay.
yep. So that was my personal reaction. I also had a friend who decided, "Oh, I'm on vacation. I don't have a connect for, the regular green," as they say. Uh so as a search, oh, we find head shops around. This guy does. This guy finds head shops around, head shops have their spices and their this and their that. Well, my buddy says, "Oh, what
Boom.
is salvia? I've heard of salvia before." And they're like, oh, yeah. You know, we've got like 15X and 30X and 60X or whatever. And he's like, oh, yeah, give me the best, you know, give me the 60X. I love that. So he gets hooked up with it, and he is under the impression that salvia equals like a synthetic. So I don't know if everybody remembers, like when I was in high school, there were synthetic things going around that looked like fish flakes. Gross.
Like K2.
Yes, that kind of thing. And that's what
Like
he
potpourri, dude. Gross.
yes, exactly.
Oh.
You know exactly what I'm talking about. He thought that salvia was the same diff.
Oh.
So his
What a costly
experience,
mistake.
yeah, his experience, you know, to do that, and it's like that intense is way different than just, you know, the regular green experience.
Yeah. That's like the time in college I grabbed what I thought was a water bottle out of the fridge, and my roommate had poured vodka into it. And I
Oh,
just
you're
got done
done.
playing basketball for about an hour, and I took 2 big gulps of vodka before I could smell that it was
Were you
vodka, and
buzzed?
it was bad. Yeah, a lot of bad things happened there. Oh, that was awful.
We love that. It didn't end there though. He thought, "Oh, okay, I got the regular green experience here. We're gonna be fine." They went to a water park, and he decided that the good time to do the salvia would be taking a stroll down the old lazy river.
I can see how you would make that mistake if you thought you were getting something else.
Right, chill, relax, float down the lazy river.
Oh my god, dude, what a horrible that's wow. So many mistakes. It's like there are multiple points in this timeline where he could have gotten off this track of disaster.
So obviously, you can imagine how that trip went. The funniest thing about it was the story that he told me that he remembered the most about the trip down the lazy river is that he thought he couldn't tell what it was exactly. He thought maybe a poop, but there was a person the whole time he was floating. There was a person following around the outside of the lazy river with a net trying to get what looked like a poop out of the Now you would think if there was a poop, it's evacuate time.
Yeah, it's probably
Uh
just a nutrageous, you know.
yeah, exactly. It's probably like a Hershey's bar or something, but
Snickers maybe.
yeah. But you know, when you're on salvia, you don't know what's going on, I guess. He thought it was a poop.
That's a good thing that's the only thing, you know, that he had. I was worried it was gonna be
Mistake.
you know, has he been allowed back to the water park yet? Was it a perma ban? You know, what happened? How many people did he yell at?
He was actually the one that pooped.
Yeah, he's like, trust me, brother. I know it was poop. All right, don't ask me
It
any more
followed me
questions
down
about
the
it.
whole
Yeah.
river. Oh goodness.
No
All
such
right.
thing as silent but deadly when you're in a river.
So there's my experience with salvia that I can share with you. Why don't we take a good peek at this video of our friend Erik, one of his first, you know, this is early Erik. Can you guess how many years ago this was? I don't know if you saw.
I'm gonna guess like 13.
14, I think is what it
Damn,
said. You were 1 year off.
man.
14,
Ooh.
4.8 million views. So this is a prolific video as well.
Can't believe he doesn't have ads on it. Oh wait, you got premium. I forgot. I was like, I hope he's making
Yeah.
bank off this bad boy.
Yeah, I got the preem, dude. Don't worry about
Very
that.
advertiser friendly video. This is.
Hey, he gets paid for preem too. Preem views pay you the same as ad views, baby. Anyways, while we pay Erik here with our eyes, let's watch his experience with the one and only salvia. Okay. Let me turn her up just a tad, and here we go.
Hello, and welcome to Driving on Salvia. I'm Erik, your host. Now, today we're going to take the car out onto the streets, and we're going to do some K-turns, and then we're going to do some U-turns, and then we're going to go ahead and parallel park in a spot smaller than we have before. To start it all off, however, we need to take a hit of our salvia.
What is a K turn, by the way?
I don't know.
I'm gonna look that up.
That's the funny thing is, like, I think most normal people, or a lot of normal people at least, maybe not most, a lot of normal people will hear what he just said and couldn't perform that without salvia, let alone with.
Yeah, I know a lot of people that can't parallel park. I'm one of them. All right.
I got a backup camera, so that's how I do her.
Got it. A K-turn is just a 3-point turn. That's
Oh,
just the term I was taught. I was like, man, a K-turn, that
a K
sounds
turn, a
I was like,
K-hole. I know what that is.
yeah, or K-pop, but not a K-turn. I was like, none of these things sound good. And the only other one was a little racist. Actually, it was a lot racist. Like, as long as it's only 1 K, but why would you call a 3-point turn a K-turn? You're just in dangerous territory there.
Yeah, that's true. They didn't think about that when they were
Come
naming it,
on.
did they?
Yeah, well, why would we? That's why we're here.
Those are some lofty goals, though, to put out the front to think you'd be able to do on salvia.
Yeah, to whip a Yui and parallel park yeah, no.
Do you think there's ever, like, when he's saying all that, do you think he is sincere? Like, do you think he's saying that being like, maybe I can do some of this stuff? Or do you think he's just saying that and he knows very full and well that he's going to be sitting in the same spot when he comes to in like 10 minutes?
I wonder, I imagine at a certain point he knows, and that this is just producer Erik, as you and I
Exactly.
talked in the pre-show. This guy's written for It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. He's been
Yeah.
on an episode. So
Wild.
he knows a little bit. Some of his stuff is well produced, especially some of the ads these days got really
Better.
going.
The ads are sometimes better produced than the video
Oh
itself.
yeah, the ads have way more effort, I think, than most of the stuff. But yeah, so no, I think he probably knows damn well that he's going to be drooling on himself. But I think that's what adds to the comedy of we're gonna do all this stuff on Salvia. Let's go. And then here in a second, his forehead will be honking the horn. Is my guess.
One of his most prolific names on the internet, Big Money Salvia. I think that originates from what we're about to see right here.
Big spooky Salvia this
Big
month.
spooky Salvia this month. You're right. I love that. Okay,
Was it
he
Hot Dad? Shout out to that band. Go listen to Hot
Hot
Dad
Dad
on Spotify.
does all of his like little music and jingles and stuff, and man, the big spooky salvia. Every time I hear it, it gets stuck in my head. So shouts out to Hot Dad too. Yeah, for sure. He's hilarious too. A good follow on like Twitter or just anywhere, that he's posting stuff. Funny guy. Anyways, let's let Erik smoke some salvia. How about that? By the way, we don't condone any of this.
Yeah, you do not smoke salvia, but you should like and subscribe to help
We
counteract
like
the
that.
fact that this video will probably get taken down, despite the original having 4.8 million views. I bet it'll be like, oh, you can't. We don't condone drug use on YouTube, man. So you can't have this up.
Well, it exists on Patreon too, so
That's right.
Once you have that done, you're going to hold it in for about 20 seconds or until your vision begins to vibrate. At that point, you can start your car and you'll be good to go.
Has your vision ever vibrated, Kevin?
I don't think so.
That's
No,
a description.
I think that the closest thing that reminds me of is if you've ever been drunk enough where you get the spins. I at one point had the spins so badly in my early college days that I remember digging in, and I woke up with like dirt up to my second knuckle on because it felt like the whole world was just in a gyro spin, and
Ah,
I was holding on for dear life. But no, I've never had vision vibrate though. At least uh, probably only in a dream.
I like that description there. So this is just the tip of the iceberg, folks. Like this is right off the bat, so he's still got a little bit of time that he's like collected here before the antics ensue, I guess. Here, let's go.
Meanwhile, Check your mirrors. Make sure they're pointing in the right
Safety
direction.
first.
I think his vision's starting to vibrate.
Yeah. So,
I'll
interesting.
be back in a moment.
I was saying, do you think he's forgotten what he was supposed to do?
That
Ooh,
he just blew it
I
out.
waited
So
a long time on that one.
he basically swallowed all that.
He didn't even see any smoke come out at that point.
Maybe that wasn't the route he should have went. I don't know. I don't think he's going to be able to start the car up.
To hold your salvia so long. Guys, it makes you trip into space.
See, I like how collected he still is, though, because a lot of people I've seen do it scream and shout
Go to space now
and run.
I was very worried about how close he was to a brick wall. I was like, is he really going to drive his car and not mess a bunch of shit up? But no, he's just going to pet his ceiling. So that's good.
Do you think that's part of the epidemic of people driving into the side of buildings that I've seen lately? Like, it's even happened in our home state, in our home city, where we live.
I mean, it could be. It's very depressing being in Ohio. You know, the weather changes every few minutes. You just live in a constant state of congestion, just with a year-long allergy situation to deal with, and people just get depressed. You know.
So they drive their car into the convention center?
Exactly. So they get a little too high behind the wheel, apparently. I didn't know this was a thing, but oof, not good. Hopefully, now that they passed that that new issue, maybe fewer people will resort to such drastic measures, and they'll just get high and drive 15 miles under the speed limit in the left lane and piss everybody off.
So you know what? I'm okay with that. I would much rather be annoyed by a slower driver, maybe, than a guy on salvia.
Then sideswiped by Dale Bernhardt over here. Yeah, same. Yeah.
Oh.
That was
Interesting.
inappropriate. I miss you, Dale Earnhardt.
Yeah, rest in peace. Not funny, Kevin.
Yeah, it was bad. It was in horrible taste. I know better. I'm not allowed. I just actually got a text. I'm not allowed back in the state of Indiana. After
Damn, they
saying that.
got you that quick, huh?
Yeah, there's a group chat. Damn, what the hell?
You see that?
Oh, it's his cat.
I mean, I can imagine that could startle you.
I wonder if that was planned. I wonder if the cat had been hanging out up there, or if that was just
He just decided to
luck.
come up and join him.
That's just the Lord working in mysterious ways right there. The cat's like, I wonder what's going on in here.
What's he doing in there? He's he seems confused.
Oh, the way he was staring at that cat. Where did he get the plant from? Did they film all these in the same day?
I don't think he knows where he got the plant, to be honest.
This is right after he filmed the gardening one. Let's just knock them all out one day, brother.
He hasn't really said much.
He looks so suspicious of that cat, dude. I've never seen. That's not true. It's been about 15 years since I've seen someone look at a cat with so much distrust in their eyes. I'll save that story for another podcast, but
do we have a cat podcast coming up? Is that what you mean?
Ooh, maybe. I gotta parse out these deep cuts of my life. You know, you can't give them the lore too soon.
Right.
Otherwise, yeah, you end up like the MCU, and then there's just like, well, there's no more good backstory left to tell. It's all been used up. So I gotta sprinkle it out like a Mr. Coffee.
This video is actually our Marvel's equivalent. It's going to be the lowest performing in the box office. Oh.
I definitely like this does not make me ever want to try this. I can say that. Like,
You know, it's interesting seeing different people's experiences, is all I gotta say. Because his is like almost the complete opposite of what mine was. I was like, ha, 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 yeah, whoa. You know, like hyper energized. So I guess maybe it's personalities make it different. Mindsets. I don't know.
there you go.
Like, here we
Hey.
go. That's what I'm about. It took till the end, but we
5
got
million views, ladies and gentlemen. It's just that easy.
Oh, so yeah, I mean, I guess
Just gotta work hard, be dedicated, be consistent with your uploads, make great thumbnails, and sit in someone's driveway and do salvia. That's all you gotta do.
that's all you gotta do.
And have done it 14 years ago, and you'd be famous by now if you had.
It's funny, this one is actually predating the one we just watched, interestingly enough. I didn't know this myself. I thought that this was a later one because this one I saw definitely later on in my internet comment etiquette history.
Oh, so he went in reverse, it sounds like.
Yeah, he did harder tasks first because driving he couldn't do on Salvia. Clearly, we saw that. I mean, maybe it's because the cat was in his way. You know, it might have helped if the cat wasn't there. I wouldn't take off with the cat on my hood, would you?
No.
I mean, it depends on if it was making me sneeze or not.
I love cats. Well, I guess that's fair. Yeah, I'm not allergic, so I don't have that.
I am. If I could smell that shit through the car, we're hitting the gas.
You're revving the engine a couple times, fire off a few warning
Oh.
shots, huh? Like,
Oh no warning, no warning shots. Didn't I ever tell you the story my dad told me about the cats in the yard buried up to their head? I mean, okay, we won't go there.
This is why I always thought that "Buckle Up, Buckaroos" was a South Park joke, but now I think it came from somewhere else in Danny's history.
Buckle up, buckaroos.
How many cats were on the car, Danny? Yeah.
15 years ago, if you can imagine that. I mean, holy shit. 15 years ago, Erik decides that, you know, before he would ever think about driving on Salvia, he thinks, I need to do something important with my Salvia experience. I need to write a letter to Congress.
That makes perfect sense. Okay.
Look how young he looks.
Wow. I see there's about the same, maybe a little more effort put into the set these days. Not much, mind you, but he's missing the cardboard robot and a couple of very interesting posters. You know, that are definitely not suggestive at all.
This is pre-poster, that's for sure. Pre-frogs, pre-gay frogs, definitely.
Yeah, and what Salvia, unlimited Salvia space rockets? That was always a good poster.
That turned the friggin' frogs gay.
Yes.
We got him here. Okay, so let's listen to Erik write a letter to Congress on Salvia.
Congress on Salvia. I'm Erik, your host, and today we're going to go over some of the basic steps to writing a letter to Congress.
Okay.
Step number 1, you want to make sure that you include your name and any professional titles that you may carry. Make sure to include those in the thing that you're writing. Keep it brief. Make sure you stick to one point.
Did he already take Salvia before he started? Step number 1 is you don't write a letter to Congress. You write a letter to your congressman or congresswoman. So methinks he might have already done a little Salvia before they started recording, Danny. I hear,
man,
you know, some folks like to take the edge off before. I wouldn't know anything about that, and that's not me, dude. I'm like the CM Punk of this place, dude. Straight edge. That's not true. Don't let me lie to you, but I definitely wouldn't do Salvia before.
Maybe it was just a couple drinks.
That's what I'm thinking. Maybe a couple of shots, lighten you up a little
bit. Oh goodness. But yeah, I think you were right. I think you said it earlier in the driving video that we were watching. Always been a teacher. since the beginning. He's telling us right now how we can write our congressmen or women.
Just include everything you know that's a fact. Don't assume anything. Don't do that. Just make sure that you
don't assume their gender.
Thoughtful, very straightforward, and I'll show you more of that as we go along. But first, we're going to take a hit of our salvia.
Okay. I mean, that is like this thing. That thing is the stereotypical college dudes fucking shitty ass bong.
Doesn't look like it's been cleaned. It looks like at one point, because the top looks kind of clear, so the bottom and it just looks pure black there. What do they call that? The slide? Is that what that's called?
Oh yeah, that's a
I don't know.
Dark slide there filled with lots of leftovers.
Yeah, looks like this guy. You sure this guy isn't smoking opium? Because that's awfully dark inside that piece there.
Hashish. Don't condone this, by the way.
You want to hold that in your lungs.
I've turned down opium the only time it was offered to me.
Once your vision begins to vibrate, you're going to begin with your letter. I'm writing my letter to Paul Ray from Utah. He's a congressman who wants to ban salvia, and I'm going to show him that salvia is perfectly okay. Do anything.
I don't know if you all caught that, but he's writing a letter to his congressman who wants to ban salvia. What better way to convince him by doing salvia while you write to him?
Yeah, foolproof.
I'm sure we'll get to see the letter.
Interesting strategy to use your knee as a desk. I wonder if that was a salvia induced plan, or if that was always going to be how he went about it.
Good question. He like you said before, maybe one too many to take the edge off before we started. We didn't get that far in the planning process. Oh.
All right, dear.
A Sharpie too. Bold strategy.
He seems like he's being very
congressman on a first name basis.
He's being very deliberate with his strokes there.
Writing in response.
There it is. There, just let it out. Uh-oh. Have we lost?
I think now he's just drawing.
Okay. He likes the drawing.
That's going on the fridge later, I bet. What is it going to be, a house or a penis?
See,
maybe a spapeship.
Yeah, this is where he got bounced on your boy's rocket ship. You know.
Oh, okay.
This is where it originated.
See, for me, it's always the sun and then those birds you can make out of the letter V, just because I can't draw worth shit.
That is a staple, I have to admit.
Yeah, that's my go-to. That or those weird shaped S's that you can make just with lines. You know,
have you
big block S?
Have you evolved past stick men, or are you still on the same page as I am?
No, mainly stick men. Yeah. For the most
That's why
part.
we have an artist, folks.
Right. Yeah. Look out for our animated series. It's going to be awful.
Shouts out Mel Seeley.
Yeah, unless Mel does it, it'll be great. Yeah. Shout out to Mel. Boom.
There you have it. All right, let's see. Like I said, this was more my experience with it. A little giggly, the giggles here.
I can't wait. I hope we get to see this paper.
I wonder what the person, you don't hear the person behind the camera laughing or anything.
Which is good. Good credit to them.
Right. Yeah.
Either that or this is just a normal occurrence at their house and they're just sad. They're like, man, Erik's really throwing his life away.
Look what's happening to you, you fucking freak.
You got marker all over your hand. You fell asleep.
Look at this.
Dear Paul, I am writing in response to, yeah, and there it was. It's like a caterpillar, maybe.
I mean, honestly, a lot more words I can read there than what I expected, to be honest.
Same. And it's interesting, he did manage to get out all the words that he said out loud, and then,
And then
right.
stop.
And you just start drawing squares on top of squares, I bet in his mind, it was like this unique, substantial 4D cube that he was just couldn't quite get on paper. That is something that I've seen way back in the college days. We had, somebody who was a neighbor who, did a little bit of the acid while, at this house party, and so, of course, they didn't go home, so they stayed late, and it was a split level house, so, there was a living room. I kept him down on my level. I kinda hung out with him a little bit, and throughout most of the night, after the party's over, he's just kinda laughing and scribbling at this notebook, and I ask him what he's doing. He tells me he's working on a screenplay. And we check it, the next day comes around, and I was like, "Hey, dude, how'd that story idea come along?" And it was literally just a bunch of cursive Z's, on a page, like 2 or 3 pages of just the letter Z, in cursive back together. It was very, very The Shining. I'd never let that guy back in my house again after that.
I do want to ask you something while we're on this kind of topic. We won't mention any names, definitely not. But we both have I think a mutual acquaintance, mutual friend, whatever you want to call it. That well, okay, I won't go there immediately, but do you think there's something to the phenomenon with people where you have took a psychedelic or a trip down a salvia lane, let's say, something like that. You've done it maybe one too many times for the old ticker upstairs, and something starts to change. Some wires start to not be connected anymore, yada yada. Like, have you noticed that with anybody? I said we have a mutual acquaintance that I felt this way about. Like I said, no names, so they don't know who I'm talking about. But I definitely had a friend that, like, I had experienced one way early on, and then over the years and years and years of fun, they're a different person now.
Yeah, I've seen it, occasionally, just, some kids that you knew in your early 20s, maybe, 'cause
Right.
I think it could happen with alcohol too. Like, if you see someone who binge drinks every night for a decade, you'll find them a different person as well.
That's
Um,
interesting. Yeah, I mean, I guess I don't ever like put that I never really think about that one. You know what I mean? Because I'm sure I also have friends. I know I have friends that have drank for the past 10 years almost every night. It's just I never thought about like what they were like at one point and what they are now. With the drug use, it's a little different, I guess, because I just, had thought about that journey, but you're probably right. The alcohol is the same way.
yeah, so I mean, but I've seen a few. Now, what's interesting, I think what I've seen more of, it actually hasn't been in my own circle, but well, as you guys know this, especially those of you patrons watching, I like to make some unique instrumental music, shall we say. All right. So I have been hanging around Festival Kids for quite some time, back when I was a kid, so to say.
Spinning the fireballs.
Right, exactly. So I don't have much experience in that world anymore, but I still do have friends that go to festivals still. And I remember being in my 20s, going to a few of those music festivals, and you see folks that are in their 40s and 50s that are still living that same party lifestyle. And yeah, I mean, there were some characters in particular. I remember a guy putting LSD into his eye, just like I believe the first time it was a liquid drop, but then this guy put a piece of paper in his eye, like just
Nice.
Why?
Now we're talking.
What's the need? And I feel like once you get to a point, you start doing, no matter what it is you do, your body builds what is that freaking word to it? A
Tolerance.
tolerance. Thank you.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
I've seen some body camera footage where people get picked up for being drunk at work and they're 0.24, and it's crazy. It's like, how can you function? Well, they're a functioning alcoholic. They have to drink that much to even feel a buzz. So the rest of us would be asleep at that point, and they're
Right.
fucking somehow at work, and then they got just a little too drunk, and now it's obvious, and they're getting arrested. So I do think you get to this point, you build a tolerance to anything. You have to start getting crazier and crazier. And I've definitely seen some, I guess, burnt out individuals. That so yeah, I mean, especially something like acid. I don't know what salvia does to you, but you're doing those things that are, altering your mind. You could have some kind of very not everyone has positive experience. There are some horrific stories about what has happened to people that have a really bad trip. So yeah, I don't know, man. If I could see people being changed and just being a different person. It can change your perspective. You do some of these party drugs, I guess.
One of the worst trip outs I've ever seen anybody have where they've like, had a bad experience. Me and a couple friends were, up all night having a good time on the thing. And we decided to get breakfast at the tail end of it. You take it early in the evening and then you'd go all night. And by the time morning rolls around, you're still awake. But yeah, okay, I'm thinking about breakfast maybe. Well, I was thinking about breakfast. Well, one of my other buddies is thinking about breakfast. Our third buddy, however, not really in the mood for breakfast. We go, since he didn't really know what he wanted for breakfast, the most humorous thing that we thought we could get him and that we laughed about, uncontrollably for probably the next 10 minutes was a big breakfast at McDonald's. He didn't appreciate the big breakfast at all. I don't think there was a single bite taken out of the big breakfast. And then as soon as we parked that car in the parking garage, that fucking big breakfast flew off the top of that fucking bitch like no other. Don't do drugs, kids.
Dang.
He didn't appreciate that big breakfast.
Threw that breakfast at you. Damn.
The other funny thing is that we bought all the breakfast on his card. So
oh, damn. Well, there you go, kids. It's lesson learned.
Lesson learned. All right, let's finish old Erik out here, okay?
Never let Danny buy you breakfast.
At least not impaired, Don't give me your card. Oh. Don't give Erik your card either.
Dude, there's something in the eyes, man. This dude looks like he's seeing demons.
Now that you have your letter all addressed, you can put it in the outgoing mailbox.
Perfect.
I bet this is going to work out great.
Do you think he got a response? I think I need to touch base. I'll reach out to Erik.
Yeah.
And I want to know, did his congressman ever write back?
He probably got put on a list. I wonder if he's been taken off. He might have legitimate surveillance after that.
He got put on a list that they never took him off, brother. Oh, so we thank you all tonight for joining us on this. We like to do these little extras every once in a while, just go on a little journey with a little Willy Wonka journey with some of our favorite creators. And Erik's one of them. I mean, definitely go check out Internet Comment Etiquette with Erik. Hilarious dude. I mean, every fucking video I say is probably a fucking A+. I really have nothing bad to say about the guy. Kevin, any final thoughts on your boy Internet Comment Etiquette? Also on It's Always Sunny, maybe someday he'll make a return appearance. it will go on for like 40 seasons. So
yeah, when they get to, you know, to the point where they're only doing 3 episodes a season, they'll probably just have Erik fill in for Mac at some point. They'll do some really over the top bit where he's Mac's other cousin or something like that. But yeah, no, I enjoy most of his videos. I think he gives me a good laugh. So shout out to you, Erik, and more importantly, shout out to all of you out there watching us. We appreciate you hanging out. Hopefully you had a good time.
To all of our patrons, enjoy an early experience before anyone else gets to see. You know, you are the elite top echelon getting to consume the clout before anyone else. Think about that. Join our Patreon, patreon.com/thecloutroute if you want to be one of those early people.
You're our very own Clout Route Cloud people. You're the elites in our society.
We thank you all, and we will see you next time on the next Clout Route early access experience. Peace.